Test, 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 test. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Hello? Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think it's on, right? Is it on? This is the part that's not very fun. I'm soft spoken.
You are. It's hard for those of us who do that.
Yes, you're right. Test, 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 test. Is that good? Am I good? Okay.
Good morning, CSL family. We're so glad you're with us today. It's a little rainy outside, but hey, it's Idaho. We're happy you're here. And we're really happy that we have Miss Lisa Bittick Lowe with us today. So give her a big hand.
dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, they can call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one is there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
If I'm on or not. Good morning. Oh, bad hair day because of the rain, bad sound day because we don't know. Good morning. I'm Jackie Holland, the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Boise, Idaho, rainy Boise, Idaho, as our Phil has just said. I want to say thank you for all of you who are here visiting us through the airwaves of YouTube Live right now. And later, those of you who are watching us on Facebook, we're so delighted to have you with us today. For wherever you are, around our country, around our world, we're so delighted to have you join in with us. And those of you in the sanctuary. Now, I've noticed that there are some kids, and I just want to say out loud, we do have children's church, or the kids are welcome to stay. Whatever y'all want to do, we just love it. So this morning, how good and very good it is to hear the princess's voice once again, Miss Lisa Bittick. And as always, under the magnificent musical direction of handsome, talented, amazing Rex Miller, our musical director, and of course, keeping the low tones for us on that beautiful bass, we have Mr. Ted McClurg this morning. And I know I say this every week, but I really do mean this. In the almost 16 years that I have been in this church, the one man keeping the heartbeat of this church going, both on the drums and through so many other ways, our drummer, Mr. Phil Bowden. I had a delightful Friday evening going and hear him with his classic vinyl. That his band is called Classic Vinyl, and we went to the Green Park, wherever it is, with all those Green Acres, yes, with all those food trucks. And we got to hear 50s, 60s, and 70s music with Mr. Phil. It was wonderful. And while I'm on that subject, this afternoon at 5 o'clock, if you don't have anything to do and you're looking for a place to eat, you can go down to 360 at the Riverside Hotel and hear Rex Miller and Pamela DeMarsh this afternoon. And what about you? Where are you, girl?
So in 2 Sundays on the 26th, our trio, Ted's and mine, Musicians 3, we're having our final concert, the last concert we're ever going to give on the 26th.
Lisa, I have learned in my many years of life.
Oh no, I just
never
meant that group.
say never.
I just meant that group, not us.
I repeat, never say never. For now, this is the last one, right?
For Musicians 3, we have
Musicians
one
3.
more concert.
How
It's on the
exciting! And where's it going to
26th.
be?
It's going to be at Eagle Creek in Eagle, and at 6 p.m. And we have information about that on my website and our Facebook page.
Yeah. And I remind all of you that the reason that we take this time in church to tell you what your musicians are doing is because this is how they make their livings, most of them. We want to support them because they support us every single Sunday. You know, I know that Rex Miller crawls home at 3 o'clock sometimes after a long gig. It's been a while, he says. Happens when we get old, right? Right, Rex? But no, I do know our musicians work very hard, and then they come here every Sunday. And so support our musicians when you can, as we are supported by some magnificent people today. This morning you were greeted by Jane Torres, Janine, and JJ was opening and closing the door as well, giving you hugs and welcoming you this morning. Also, JJ Bullock is our hospitality person, and we are so delighted to ask you to please stay after service and have some coffee and some special treats today. Pamela Brichtel is with our children in our children's church, which is located on this side of the church, teaching them some really wonderful activities and arts and crafts. And so our young children's church is opening, and we are looking at opening our older children's church sometime in July. So also on sound this morning, finally on sound this morning, we have Mr. Rob Compton, who's holding us in sound. And our camera people this morning are Cheryl Houdon and Jenna Nash. Thank you. Let's thank all of our volunteers for everything that they do to keep this church going. Thank you so much. Let's just take a moment as I just draw your attention to a couple of things. This morning, of course, this being Pride Month, we are acknowledging our amazing, courageous people this month. Standing firm, standing tall with our flags, and also the green tennis shoes. They're not like her tennis shoes, the little girl that was killed in Texas, but we are putting my green tennis shoes up with a heart to remind us to hold those children and their families in our hearts. So let's just take a deep breath. And let's remember why we came in the rain and the darkness of this morning to this place. We came to community, to be together. And so we open our hearts, our minds, our spirits right now, and we're receptive and ready as we rest and we breathe and we know.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is love. There is love. In the stillness of this moment there is love. There is love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love. In the stillness of this moment there is love.
And so we take a moment now to rest, to trust in the love of God, known by so many different names, followed by so many paths. But in the end, it is love. And so we open our hearts and our minds now to receive the word of Spirit being spoken through our practitioner, Miss Lisa Compton.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is my absolute honor to introduce Dennis Bankhead, who will light the world religious candles from the Christ candle. The candles honor 5 of the major religions of the world. In religious science, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all religions are connected to the same universal reality and that there are some common beliefs among all faiths. We join with others in mosques, churches, synagogues, and temples throughout the world, knowing we are one human family. We light the first candle for Baha'i who believe love is the breath of the Holy Spirit, inspired into human spirit. Love is the necessary tie proceeding from the realities of things through divine creation. We light the second candle for Islam. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said, "You will not enter paradise until you believe, and you will not believe until you love one another." We light the third candle in honor of Christianity. Christians believe that God is the source and essence of eternal love. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. We light the fourth candle for Judaism. The Hebrew words for love are sometimes rendered in English as loving kindness or steadfast love. The fifth and final candle honors New Thought, believing the essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotion, renews the soul, proclaims the spirit. So now we'll quiet our minds and we'll open our hearts for the message being sung by Lisa Bittick, Lowe.
Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is doubt, let me bring faith. Where there is falsehood, let me bring truth. Where there is pain, I'll comfort you. Where there is silence, let me sing praise. Where there's despair, let me bring hope. Where there is blindness, let me bring sight. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. And with these words I speak, grant that I may not seek to be heard, but to hear, to be consoled, but to console, not to be seen, but to see, to be loved, but to love. Forgive love, we'll find reprieve. It is in dying we'll be released. Make me an instrument of
Please join me in prayer. And if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. Taking a big, deep breath in and just recognizing the love in this sanctuary, recognizing the love in your own heart for your own family. It's all God. So without, as within, this powerful presence of love. It's who we are. It's God in expression in our own unique way. we express it. We take it out into the world. We hold it for those we hold dear, our families, our children, our partners, others. We claim and accept the power and the presence of love today. It's here where I bless this service. I bless each and every one of us, knowing that we are ready, open at the top, ready to hear the message. We speak a special word for our Reverend Jackie, knowing that she's done her work today, and that as she comes up, that she shares from her own heart, her own expression of God, the message that we all came to hear today. So for this and so much more, we claim love, we claim and know we are blessed. Together we say Om, Shanti, Ashe, Amen, Aho, and so it is. Thank you.
Miss Lisa Bittick Lowe, give her a hand.
Holding back the flood in this skyscraper town. You gave all that sweat and blood, now you think you're gonna drown. You can't tell that you're bigger than the sea that you're sinking in. And you don't know what you got, but you got it at your fingertips. Ooh, you got it in you. You got it in you. When the lights go out and leave you standing in the dark, no one ever told you this would be so hard. I know you think your fire is burning out, but I still see you shining through. You got it in you. Not everything you hear should sound like the truth, 'cause nobody else's words can define you. Maybe you don't see it, but you're quicker than the world can spin. You should know what you got, 'cause you got it at your fingertips. Ooh, you got it in you. Ooh, you got it in you. When the lights go out and leave you standing in the dark, no one ever told you this would be so hard. I know you think your fire is burning out, but I still see you shining through. You got it in you. When the lights go out and leave you standing in the dark, no one ever told you this would be so hard. I know you think your fire is burning out, but I still see you shining through. You got it in you.
Lisa Bittick, ladies and gentlemen. Woo. You know, I failed to say thank you to a very important volunteer this week, Miss Mindy Woods, who was our cosmic cleaning crew. So give Mindy a hand. She came in and cleaned this church for you. Yes, so good morning. Good morning. I want to tell you a children's story this morning. There's a wonderful children's story about Alberic the Wise. Alberic, let's just call him Albert. Al for short. Alberic was a young man who lived in a little tiny village, and he knew nothing about the world. He knew absolutely nothing outside of his village until one day an elderly man with a big pack on his back came to the village. And he told amazing stories of mystery and wonder about what was on the outside of that village. Albert, young man, after the older man left, he just could not stop thinking about all the wonders that he might see if he could just leave his parochial village. And so the day came for him to leave. He could only take what few possessions that he had, a little bit of clothes. The allure of the unknown world proved too big for him, and so he packed his belongings and he set off for foreign lands. Before too long, he came to a city more grand than anything he had ever imagined, anything he had ever seen before. And this village was known for its stained glass. And so he found a mentor, a teacher, and he learned to do stained glass. For 2 years he worked with the mentor, learning how to make this wonderful glass. The day came for him to prove himself, and as he created what he knew was going to be a masterpiece, he looked down and was so disappointed. Clearly he was not a glass maker. So he moved from one city to the next city. He said, okay, clearly wisdom, which was what he was searching for in this time, wisdom, he was searching for wisdom, the wisdom to know who he was and what he was supposed to do with his life. He said, well, obviously wisdom is not beauty because I can't do it. So he moved from that city to another city famous for its stone cutters and its masons. Beauty isn't everything, he said to himself. So the true measure of wisdom must be utility. It must be usefulness. So I will study with these people and I'll learn to cut stones. And I'll learn how to be the greatest stone master ever because wisdom is utility. So again, he set about learning his trade, but his ability at stone cutting was not very good. And so he moved on to the next town. Well, usefulness isn't everything, he said to himself. Innovation. Surely wisdom is innovation. Surely the definition of wisdom must be innovation, when we can create new and beautiful things. And so he arrived at a village where the goldsmiths crafted objects of unsurpassed beauty out of gold. They were elegant and beautiful. But once again, poor little Al, his third attempt proved to be a failure. And so it went city after city, try after try, attempt after attempt. How can I find wisdom, he said. How can I find wisdom? What am I supposed to do? He would stop, so he finally stopped at the great capital city where he was sitting on the side of the road with his accumulation of his failed stained glass, jewelry, and a stone that he was carrying. And he sat down, and young people started to come to him, and he started telling them stories of all of his adventures. And soon throngs were coming to sit in front of him to hear his stories. Even the king came to seek his advice. So impressed was the king that he moved Albert into a castle and gave him the title of Albert the Wise. Albert the Wise. After the novelty and the newness of his recently acquired fame began to fade just a little bit, Albert began to experience self-doubt, something no one in this room ever experiences. I know. Not a one of you. He began to experience self-doubt and saying, what do I know? No matter what anybody else said or thought about him, he knew he was not wise. After all, he had tried so many things and had failed, but he was not wise. However, the more he tried to disown his reputation about being wise, the more people thought he was being wise by trying to disown being wise. Wiser people thought that he was. Finally, to the utter astonishment of everyone, little Albert packed up his belongings, gave up his palace, his wealth, his servants, his exalted position among the citizens of the town, and headed out to an unknown destination. Albert may have discovered for himself the true wisdom was in seeking, was in searching, was in looking. He said this, "It is much better to look for what I may never find than to find what I might never want." It is so much better to look for what I may never find than to find what I do not really want. And that's what we do when we think about wisdom. We ask everybody in the world, what is wisdom? And their opinion of wisdom then, oh, well, that's Joe Johnson Hughes is a practitioner and she's so wise, so her opinion about wisdom must be right. And we go searching for Joe's wisdom. We go searching for Lisa's wisdom, for somebody else's wisdom, for our parents' wisdom, for our teachers' wisdom, oh God, for our ministers' wisdom. My wisdom is not your wisdom. Your wisdom may or may not be mine. So what is wisdom? What is wisdom? And I turn to the Bible, and of course we are using the Aramaic. We are using the Lamza Bible, which is the translation from the Aramaic, which is the language of Jesus. And as you know, George Lamza translated it back into its original form, and so we are hearing it in English as it was translated from the language of Jesus, Aramaic. We read in Proverbs chapter 9, "Wisdom has built her house. She has set it up in 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her beasts. She has mingled her wine. She has also prepared her table. She has set forth her servants to cry out upon the high places and say, whosoever is simple, let him come to me. Whosoever is simple, whoever is pure, whoever is doesn't have a lot of opinions, come to me. For him who lacks understanding," she said to him, "come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake folly and live and go in the way of understanding. Correction for a bad man brings disgrace. The wicked man is rebuked by his own blemish. Reprove not a bad man, lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise person, and they will love you. Give an opportunity to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." This is wisdom speaking. The reverence of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. In the Christian Bible, it says the fear of the Lord. But the Aramaic word means the reverence, the love for the Lord is just the beginning of understanding. The love of God is just the beginning. It's not the end all, be all. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. So we ask ourselves, what? What is wisdom? What is wisdom?
I was created at the beginning of the world.
That's nice, but what is wisdom?
I was here before the waters.
Okay, you were here before the waters, but what is wisdom?
I was here before the mountains and the hills took shape.
Good for you, wisdom. But what are you?
I was present at the formation of the heavens and at the groundbreaking ceremony of the earth.
Wisdom. I'm happy for you that you've been here forever. Okay? But what is wisdom?
When you find me, you will be very happy.
What is wisdom? The Bible tells us, the Christian Bible tells us, the sacred readings tell us that reverence for God, for the great Creator, for whatever word you use for its expression, is just the beginning of wisdom. It's just the start of wisdom. Wisdom is in believing that we are more than mere human beings. And I'm not talking about blowing our ego up. I'm talking about in the beginning there was God, the great Creator, that moved in an act of love upon itself and created us in its image and likeness and said, wow, are you good, man? I created you out of my love. So wisdom is in believing that we're more than just this bag of bones that's walking around on this planet Earth, taking up space and searching. Wisdom It's not about blowing up our egos. It's not about being some fantastical human person here. It's knowing that we are a natural extension of what we call God. Love, intelligence, divine mind, infinite life, universal mind. It is that we are a natural extension of this life force, whatever you want to call it. We are a natural extension of that. And when we have that wisdom, every action, word, and deed that we respond to and from is from that place of wisdom. The reverence, love of God as you is just the beginning of wisdom. The only thing that stands in our way of experiencing more and more God's self is our belief that we can't do it. It's just that simple. All week long, I've been looking for wisdom in some of the things that I've been thinking about and trying to do. Trying to do this last week. What is the wisdom? How can I find the wisdom here? What is it that I can do? And I went to one of my favorite mentors, teachers, authors that I've just followed since I was a teenager, Buckminster Fuller, and he came to believe in his book, Bucky Fuller's Universe. It's a wonderful book. He came to believe that every human being represents a unique test case of possibilities. Think about that for a second. You are a divine test case of possibility. Possibility. Amazing things can be done. Wisdom might not be beauty or utility, but wisdom is you wrapped up in this divine test case of possibility. He believed that each of us are miniature universal experiments. Now, when I think about that, I think about how disappointed Spirit has been in the experiment of Jackie Holland sometimes. The experiment of Jackie Holland's life sometimes. But then I think to myself, without all of those so-called failures, those so-called things that didn't work out, I wouldn't be who I am and what I am now. So every experiment that I deemed a failure was in fact a success. That we are divine possibilities. Wow, I love that. I love that so much. I'm connected to the life force. The life force nature is to express, and that nature is pushing me to be more and to be more and to be more and to be a more clear expression of the possibilities that there are. And in order for me to see those possibilities, I have to change my mind about who I am, who I have been, and what I think I should be. And I should recognize that Spirit is calling forth from me and you and everyone the divine experiment of perfection as you and the person sitting next to you and in front of you and around you, all of us. I believe that what we have to know to move into the future is that we are divine possibilities of the new human being. That no matter what the world is saying to us in the media, that no matter what is going on around us, if we can anchor our understanding that we are divine possibilities of the new human, brought here in this time, in this place, for a perfect reason. And we need to know that we're not alone, that we're a natural extension of this life force, call it God, love, intelligence, life, whatever you want to call it. Ernest Holmes, our founder, called it the ultimate stuff. You're the ultimate stuff. You are made from the ultimate stuff. Whatever it is, I'm in a natural extension of it. Not an unnatural extension, but a natural extension of it. Think about your life and when things go smoothly and naturally, perfectly for you, just with ease and grace, nothing stopping you, just moving forward. That's what I am talking about when I say that we are natural extensions of this thing called love, called spirit, called life. As human beings have gone through many evolutions in the process of bringing us to this point, we are equipped today to handle all of our uncertainties, all of our fears, all of our concerns. if we remember that we are possibilities, an experiment of the divine self, stuff itself expressing as us. I have found myself in the last 2 weeks shaking my head and saying internally, and I'm afraid, unfortunately, a couple of times out loud as well, there's just nothing that can be done about this. There's just nothing. We just have to pray. There's just nothing more that can be done. And then I remember, I am a divine experiment of possibilities. And so are you, and you, and you. And instead of there is nothing that can be done about children and teachers being killed, there's nothing that can be done about the NRA, there's nothing that can be done about the January 6th situation, instead of thinking and feeling that, what would it be if we were to say to ourselves, what divine possibility exists in this right now? What divine possibility is attempting to make itself known through my mind right now? What is mine to do? All around this country, the LGBTQI plus community and all of those how do I say it? LGBTQI, what else is it, Ed? There's another one that has been added this year now, I can't think about it. Anyway, okay, that's enough. That's right. In cities all across this country this month, our brothers and sisters in that community of many different alphabetic designations are standing up for their possibility, for their possibilities. They are saying no more. No, this is who I am. This is what I am. I am a divine natural extension of God itself in all of my glory. What if all of us could do that every day of our life? I am a divine experiment in the mind of God. I am a divine possibility in the mind of God. I'll tell you something else I believe. I believe it's becoming very clear to me that in every single one of us, beyond our ability to speak about it, there is a longing that is calling us to be grounded in this awareness of perfection, of truth, of unity, of oneness. There is a longing in us, we can't even explain it. It's that longing that brings tears to our eyes when we see some of the tragedies that are happening around the world. It's that longing that brings laughter to our face and smiles to our face when we see a child giggling in love. That is the expression of spirit itself. There is this longing. I'm here to nurture my spirituality, not my religion, not my dogma, not my creed, but my natural spirituality, which is why I love religious science. Our natural spirituality. It's not about religion. It's not about dogma. It's not about creed. It's about who are you in the natural world. We are experiments of God itself. Because I believe that life, that God, that Spirit has brought us here for something more than just to exist. I believe there's something more within us waiting to express itself. I think we're all a part of this unfolding design of divinity that is forever and ever unfolding itself in new ways, expressing itself in new ways. That divinity is alive and active and pressing to get into expression through each and every one of us. If we are just willing to move past our old beliefs, if we're willing to move past what we think we know, what we think we should know, what we should be, what people have told us forever we need to be. I think too many of us are still living with what I like to call a rear view mirror life. It's like getting into an amazing high-powered car that's got everything on it and then looking into the rear view mirror and trying to drive down the road. That's what we do. We look at our past lives, who we were, who we have been, who we thought we should be. You know, I still have a lot of residual This is what I should have been as a minister. As I am nearing the end of my career as a pulpit minister in a few years, I still keep these ideas in my mind. Oh, I should have been that. I should have been that. I should have been that. What would it be if we just say, I was what I was? And here's where I am now. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about you too. I bet you I'm not alone when you look back in your life and say, well, I should have done that. Well, maybe. We got to let go of that rear view mirror living. Okay, y'all say that 5 times. Go ahead. Try it. We have to accept that we have the power to move forward, knowing that as we move forward, how we move forward depends on not letting our past influence our future. Now listen, I'm not saying everything in our past is to be ignored. Heavens no. Your past is filled with a lot of wonderful treasures. But even the wonderful treasures can hold us back. How many of you, and I'm guilty of this myself, honestly I am, I admit it, how many of you have talked to somebody and within 10 minutes they tell you who they used to be? Well, when I used to work at so-and-so, I'm guilty of doing that myself. Because, when you're successful, when you're happy, when you're doing things. And yet I wonder how much of holding on to that continues to hold us back. We have to know that we have to let go of the past that's influencing our future in order to live an unlimited life. One of the greatest things I think that happened in the 60s, and I'm thinking about this because I was listening to 60s music on Friday night. That was my era, 60s and 70s music. I was thinking about everything that happened in the 60s. One moment, please. One of the greatest things that happened in the 60s was a movement. Some of y'all in this room are old enough to remember it, I'm sure. It was called the God is Dead movement. Do y'all remember that? Okay, I know you young people do not understand what we're talking about, the 60s. Just your day will come. All I'm saying. In fact, I thought that was one of the greatest movements that ever happened. God is dead. It scared me at first because remember, I was coming out of the Southern Baptist faith and I thought God was all that. But I got involved a little bit in this God is Dead movement. In fact, I thought that was really a great thing. Here's what it said. It said that the God that they were talking about never ever existed except in the minds of human beings. Now what I know, looking back on that whole movement, is that movement really, really led me to this philosophy. That I had to let my idea of God die in order to be open to a new idea. A new universal idea of a loving, amazing, generous, abundant, glorious, opulent God, which was not taught in my original faith, I can tell you that. When we let the old God die, the one that punishes us for making mistakes, then we can see that the God that really is a God that loves us, that supports us, that surrounds us and guides us, directs us and sustains us in everything in our life. And so when I began to let my old God die, I could open up to a new God. And I'm not just talking about this divine God. What about your God of money? Your God of power? Your God of relationships? Your God of fill in the blank, because we all have them. These little gods that we know that we want. And it's only when we can let them die can we open ourselves up to something that is new and greater and better. Because we were given the power to create our lives. We were given the power to be the creator of our lives. And when we began to discover that, right here, right within us, the ultimate stuff, the energy out of everything which is created is ours just for the grabbing, just for the accepting. Then we learn that we have the ability to think and that our thoughts activate the law of cause and effect, and we have within our hands a limitless world of potential that we can create. But we had to let the old gods die, the old ideas die. That is wisdom. Where is wisdom? It was here before the beginning of time. Wisdom is Rod Compton, by the way, sitting back there, if you didn't recognize his voice. Rob likes to play God and wisdom in this church. We like it. It was here before the beginnings of time. It will be here forever, and when we find it, we will be happy. And the wisdom that I'm talking about is the wisdom to know that we are more than just this body of human, that we are a natural extension of the divine. Wow, what wisdom is that? Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said that we should analyze ourselves by asking if we look at ourselves from a standpoint of restrictions. Ask yourself, do I look at myself from the standpoint of restriction? I do. I can't do that anymore. I can't be that anymore. I can't. Do you look at yourself from the standpoint of restriction? He says this, do we see life limited to the eternal round of getting up in the morning, eating, going to work, coming home, going to bed, sleeping, and getting up the next morning and beginning all over again? He wrote, break the bonds of the apparent necessities of life and see life as one continuous expression of the infinite self. Free yourself forever from the thought that God would be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better off because of your misery. You know, Southerners love to be miserable. Let me read this again. Free yourself forever from the thought that God would be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better off because of your misery. Know that the greater abundance of every good thing which you are bringing into your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. Now, you see, that's opposite from what I learned in the Southern Baptist faith. Listen to what he says. Know that the greater abundance of every good thing that you're bringing into your life, and the more that you are more perfectly satisfying the divine urge within you. God is pleased when we are abundant. God is pleased when we have good in our lives. Because we are an expression of God. You know, that makes sense. Do you think God is pleased when we're miserable? Probably not. Because if we are that which God is, made out of that, and an extension, a natural extension of that, then if we are miserable, we are by extension expressing that spirit is miserable, and we know that that is not possible. That's a human thing. God is not pleased by our sacrifices. Oh, my mother was so good at that. Sacrifice. I sacrificed everything for my family. God is pleased when you say, this is who I am. This is what I deserve. This is what I no longer will accept. God is pleased when we set boundaries and we accept goodness, not misery in our life. Every time I rise above anything I have ever done before, I am satisfying the divine urge that is within me. Every time I accept good in my life, and I bring forth more good, I am glorifying God, if we can use that traditional religious tone. I am letting the world know that I am moving past my limitations and I am expressing God. Ernest Holmes went on to say, so limitless then lives in the world of the unformed. Limitlessness lives in the world of the unformed. It's not formed yet. It's up to you to form it. You have the power to form unlimited good in your life. It's out there. That's wisdom. This is life, the way we see it in this morning. Where does limitlessness live? That's a big word, isn't it? It lives in the unformed stuff of the universe. And how do you form it into what you want? Anybody? One word. Think. You think it into existence. You speak it into existence. You believe it into existence. It's out there in the unformed world. You can speak it, believe it, and bring it forth by your thoughts. By your thoughts. So to live with the wisdom of life, to live the unlimited life of God itself, it's right here. It's right now. Where is wisdom? It's everywhere. Who is wisdom? It's you. What is wisdom? I don't know, because I'm not wise. I'm saying that the next time you ask for divine wisdom, for divine discernment, for God to tell you what to do, remember this. Wisdom begins with the love of God. So the next time we are searching for anything, ask yourself this question. Do I trust? Do I rest? Do I breathe in the love of God? And do I surrender to that which is so much greater than I could ever be? So right now, I just invite you to take a moment and turn within. Turn within for just a moment. And ask yourself right now, is there something in my life that I have been asking for wisdom to come to me so that I can make a decision? Is there a decision that you've been trying to make in your life that you've been asking for wisdom? Just take a moment. What have you been seeking wisdom for in your life? She's there. She's right there, awaiting your recognition. And so when you have this situation fully orbed in your mind, what is mine to do now? Where is mine to go now? Should I buy this house, sell this house? Whatever you are facing with right now, call forth divine wisdom, for it's there. Call it forth by asking yourself, do I love God? How can I express greater love in my life? In this situation, how would love have its way here? And your answer will come. Lisa, your answer will be made so clear.
Breathing in what we know. We are rooted in divine universe. These roots grow in and through who we are, and we're guided by the heart for all those things that call to us, the situations, the relationships, our health, our worries. We are rooted in the divine, and that wisdom lives in and through who we are. And we trust and we know we are guided and guarded in the divine. All is well. All is well. All is love. All is peace. Despite life's stirrings. We say a prayer for those who are recovering in their health journey, in addiction, in relationships that there's concern. We are rooted in the divine, and we are supported. And there is an infinite potential of something beyond what we know, and we rest in this. For the world, for ourselves, and for the greater good. We are so grateful. We are so deeply grateful. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Take a deep breath and just turn to someone and let them know how glad you are they are here today. Again, I invite you to join us after service for some hospitality. JJ, if you could get things ready. This morning, we have a very sad duty, and that is to say goodbye to someone in our church that we are so sad. If you could get a photo, yeah. So sad about, but we also rejoice anytime someone makes a decision to move or to go somewhere. We're happy for them because we know it's the right decision for them. And this morning we are saying goodbye to our beloved Judy Rhodes, who is moving to Virginia on Saturday to live with her daughter. And so Judy, would you just stand right where you are, please? This is Judy Rhodes, and would you all just extend your hands to Judy, right where you are, and say, Judy, we love you. We see you. We know who you are. You are an expression of God's love. We will miss you. We will miss you. But we bless you on your journey, filled with new adventures, lots of love, and good barbecue in Virginia. I'm just saying. Blessings to Miss Judy. And we are also celebrating, if JJ is ready. Are you ready, JJ? She's not ready. We're not going to celebrate. All right, we'll be celebrating in just a minute. I just want to say that I could go back to bed and start Sunday over. That might be okay, right? Yes. Are we ready? No. Okay, so turn to someone and just tell them what your greatest piece of wisdom to your 15-year-old self would be. The greatest words of wisdom to your 15-year-old self. Come on. Ooh, 15-year-old boys, musicians, I don't know. Okay, buy Microsoft, and you don't have to be like everybody else. Yes, it's Ed's birthday. Is there anybody else who's having a birthday this week? Ed Kuzinski's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ed. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Don't you dare blow it out. Fan it out. Fan it out. Okay, so listen, guys. Yes? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Okay, wait. You have a special birthday song. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Oh, happy birthday, everybody. And immediately after church today at Louis Italian Restaurant, we have room reserves. Come and join us for brunch for celebrating Ed's birthday and your birthday and anybody else who wants to come. There's plenty of room. And so if you don't know where Louis is, it is on Fairview, just west of Eagle, and it's there on the right, Louis Restaurant. It's wonderful. It's the only place I can get a reservation because nobody's taking reservations, but it's delicious Italian. So please join us and come and celebrate Ed's birthday and Judy's leaving and everybody else getting to know each other. Stay after church for some hospitality. Make sure you get one of your cupcakes. And thank you so much for being with us today. This is our conscious giving time. The time when we give back to Spirit that which Spirit has so beautifully, magnificently given to us. We are deeply, deeply grateful to you for all that you do to support the many ministries of the Center for Spiritual Living in Boise, Idaho. Thank you. Those of you who are online who give, if you're interested in knowing how to give, you can text to, you can mobile text give. Our dedicated number is 208-782-4202. 208-782-4202. There are many, many ways to give electronically. There's still the old-fashioned write a check and give cash. There's lots of different ways to do it. But I really want to say from my heart how much we appreciate your giving. I know times are difficult for so many people, and the fact that you continue to participate in the law of circulation improves your life as well as the life of this spiritual center. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are deeply blessed by your giving and your consciousness and your love. So, is there anything I'm supposed to announce? Oh, yes, prayer. Prayer. I'm so sorry. The most important thing here. If you are visiting with us for the first time today, look in the pockets in front and you'll see a card that looks like this. It's a welcome card. Please fill that out and we will put you on our e-blast to receive our e-blast. Once a week we send an e-blast out. That's the best way to know about what's happening in the church because we don't do paper programs and so forth anymore. So sign up. And if you're not getting the e-blast and you have been in this church, it's because we do not have your correct email address. So fill that out and we'll get it changed right away. If you're online, you can send this information to office@cslboise.org. Office@cslboise.org. And immediately after service, Lisa Compton will be available to pray with you in the prayer room at the end of the west hallway. Please just go out this door or come down the hallway, and Lisa will take you into the prayer room and pray with you. And our practitioners are also waiting to pray with you online, so you can see that their phone numbers are coming up now. And if you are online and you wish to receive prayer, you can send your confidential prayer request to prayers, that's plural, prayers@cslboise.org. Prayers@cslboise.org. Or put it right there on the live feed and know that we will be praying for you for 30 days or more. Thank you so much. For those of you in the sanctuary, come and get a prayer after service or fill out the blue prayer requests that are in the pockets in the chairs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, beloved ones. So let's just take our gift, our offering, and for those of you who do give electronically, you can pick up one of those hearts and put it in the offering basket as it comes by. Just know with me that this is more than money. It's wisdom. It's wisdom to know that the law of circulation working in your life and in the life of this spiritual place is multiplied by your giving and your consciousness. And so we say, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life, for the opportunity and the ability to give, to share. Thank you, God. As together we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Bittick and the CSL House Band. JJ? Jane?
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world just wait and see. Another day goes by, still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. We want the world to know we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see, wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart each and every day. Put a little love in your heart. There's no other way. Put a little love in your heart. It's up to you. Put a little love in your heart. Come on and put a little love in your heart. You've got to put a little love in your heart. Come on and put a little love in your heart. Everybody, put a little love in your heart. Ooh.
Please stand for your blessing. As we walk through our lives, we are deeply blessed in the infinite potential of who we are. And so it is. Have a magnificent day.
Ooh.